how does it actually feel for you to talk about depression today?
Oh, so I'm someone who had depression for 3 years, 4 years. And when people think about depression, it's a topic that it's really hard to articulate. It's not just about people all being sad and get over it. It's not something you can get over easily. It's more about a consistent thing, like persistent. It doesn't go away. It's like a dark cloud on top of you for a long time. Like, it doesn't go away. And I was just consistently very down and low energy, and I don't feel the need to do anything. I don't want to do anything at all, and I want to give up on life completely. And I know I look a certain way. I don't look like what I've been through. And a lot of people will be surprised when they hear me say, oh, I have depression. They couldn't believe it. So thank you for inviting me today to this podcast. I'm happy to share about my experience with depression because I want to help those who are struggling with this condition. And I want to tell people that it does not define them. It can be a cornerstone for them to become who they truly are. For me, depression, it's like I was sick of playing a mask. And I was sick of playing this character, and it has to break. And for me, depression is like me breaking down in order to have the breakthrough. So I'm happy to share about depression today because I'm over it. I want to tell people like that I came from a point where I want to give up on everything completely to now I'm thriving in life and I'm loving my life. So I'm happy to share my experience and I'm excited to talk more about it, in depth.
Yeah. The part that you actually shared of that when you just look at you from the outside, that it's hard to see exactly what's going inside in someone, right? Mm-hmm. But that's why mental health, I feel, is often taken a lot less serious because we don't see it always very obvious that someone is fighting a battle that they might be losing. We don't always see that.
Like all of us struggle some way. We don't see the struggle, but we all go through mental health and challenges and pain, but we can't see it. We can't judge by a book by its cover. Like, I'm fine. Like I'm. Exactly. Nobody knew for 10 years I had depression. Nobody knew, my friends. And when I try to open up, they can't believe me. They couldn't believe it.
So wait, for 10 years, you had depression?
Yeah. So I had depression when I was 17.
Yeah.
And when I told my friends, like 10 years later, they couldn't believe me. And when I tried to open up to my friends back then, like a few of them, they couldn't believe me and they dismissed it, some of them. That's why they were like, for example, one of my friends, when I tried to open up to her about my experience of depression, and she felt very uncomfortable with it. She couldn't hold space for me. And she was, oh, Elaine, actually, let's watch this funny video. And she just shoved it in my face. And I was completely shut down. I felt emotionally like that. She wasn't available for me. And yeah, it was tough. But I feel like we should talk about it. And awareness matters and sharing. But another thing I want to add is you just have to share with the right people.
Yeah. But when, I mean, with your experience, when you share it with someone that I guess you trust, right?
Yeah,
with your
she's
friend.
my friend for
Yeah,
years.
and then they might, I don't know, push it aside.
Yes.
Getting over that to then share it to someone, another person, that can be very tough. If your first experience of trying to share it is not a good one, that can be tough, though.
Yes. And it did hurt me because when you try to open up, it puts you in a vulnerable spot, I would say. Like you're opening up emotionally. Yeah. But it's really not about myself. It's more about that person's capacity, if they can hold space for you. And that is why I don't blame myself for opening up. Like, my act is not a wrong thing. It's fine. But there are also, like, during this period when I had depression, I find out, who's my true friend. It's actually it shows me who they truly are. It shows me their true colours. That's why I don't regret it. I don't regret having that conversation with that friend. Then I know that I can't open up to her in that way. She still loves me, but she maybe they can't even do it for themselves. That she can't give me what she can't give to herself.
Very true.
And I don't blame her. I forgive her now. I let go of that.
You're still friends?
Not really. No.
Not really. Okay.
No, I
was just curious.
Because for me, I have standards. For me to be friends with people, I want to be able to trust them. And now I only have friends that I truly can trust, can open up to. I can be vulnerable, I can be myself, and they truly accept me and love me for me, and I truly appreciate them. And I don't need any of them, like, fake friends, let's say.
Yeah. Sounds like the right friends. Yeah.
It has been a tough experience, but you truly find out, the truth. And I care more about the truth than fake lies and white lies. I don't like that stuff. So I prefer to be real. Like, integrity matters for me.
So you said that at 17...
Yes.
You had depression, right? But when did you know, or how did you know, like, okay, this might be depression? Like, what were some of the signs, or how did you, I don't know, find out about, this is depression?
For me, like I said earlier, depression is not like one day I'm depressed and after a few days I'm happy again. It's not like that. I've been constantly having suicidal thoughts. I want to end it all, finish it. I don't feel well because I used to enjoy certain things. I love going out. I love being with my friends. I do this activity, creativity, create.
Yeah.
And I stopped everything. I feel like I don't want to do anything at all. And constantly I've been feeling depressed. I want to run away. And I also started having anxiety, very bad anxiety and panic attacks. For example, when I go out in the bus, I couldn't breathe properly. I was just like heavy breathing. And I feel like I want to cough and like vomit, but I can't. And it's just, I just want to run away. I don't want to go to school. Another thing is, I nearly got kicked out of college, which is high school in America. Yeah. The teachers, they couldn't believe me. Like, one of my teacher, like, he told me in front of everybody because of my low attendance, because I was sick physically, mentally, everything. I was in a survival mode. There was a lot of drama happening in my life, chaos. People go through, like, I don't know, abuse, trauma, and all that kind of stuff. I've been through it. Like, I wasn't in an environment where I could be myself and accepted for who I am. And like I said, I got sick, and he couldn't believe me, my own teacher. And they wanted to kick me out of school, like, all my teachers. Wow. Yeah. He said in front of everybody that I'm ridiculous, or in front of all my classmates. So, yeah, I cried that day. I did cry, but it made me more resilient. I would say, like, I told myself that no matter what, I'll get up. And the thing is, even though I really want to give up on life and everything, I couldn't. That's like a fire inside me that I should keep moving forward no matter what. And I'm going to show them what I'm made of. Those exact teachers who wanted to kick me out, at the end, that guy, the same guy who said I'm ridiculous, he said I'm one of his favourite students. And like he'd be I'm his star student suddenly at the end. Yeah, oh, wow. And I got good grades. I passed everything. Like, yeah, I was really close to being kicked out until I proved them. You know, I got proofs of like that I got depression and all that kind of stuff. And I started going back to school, and I stopped running away because I made the decision that I'm not going to give up on myself, that I'm going to keep it consistent.
Well, what an experience, first of all. But that's incredible at the same time that you had that internal voice telling you to still keep on fighting.
Yes.
But I mean, I don't. But was it there all the time, or when did that voice sort of come?
So for me, I think that voice, of course, I'm not always like, yeah, let's go and get it. Like, there's so many moments that I just hate myself. I think depression. Another thing is, like, there's so much self-hate. And, like, I hate myself and I hate everybody. That's the state I was in. I see everything in a dark way. And I think it's when I wanted to give up on my life, that the thoughts about my parents, the people I love, and when I imagine their tears, I can't do it. I can't do, like, self-harm and stuff. And I'm not a fan of pain either. I wouldn't cut myself and that kind of stuff. I would say that voice do pop up when I think about my future self, my life, the life I have ahead of me, the things I want to do. And that motivates me. Like, it's like a to-do list, you know, your dreams or goals. It's so many things I want to do. I want to travel the world. I want to go to Japan, because I live in Japan now. But before, like, I really love Japan, and I want to live there. I want to visit. I want to learn Japanese. I want to go to so many countries. And now I've done all of that. I'm not afraid to go out anymore, because, like I said, I was afraid to face people. I was afraid of the whole world. It felt like it was me against the world. That's how I felt for me, depression.
Yeah.
But that kept me going, the light within. Like, and I don't want to give up on myself, because even though I hated myself for like for example, I had acne, like there's a lot of like appearance stuff.
Sure.
I don't like the way I look, my body. I was like, and people criticizing me. My friends, they weren't real friends. They can't accept me for me. And I was a people pleaser. It was everything at once. Environmental friends, my condition, I was sick. Like, but I still can't give up despite of all that. And I try to, that forced me, actually, all that experience forced me to go inward. Instead of focusing externally, I have no choice but to do inner work, to understand myself. And it was back then that I started reading philosophy and psychology. That's where my interest started, actually. I didn't used to read, no, but it all began when I had depression, and I want to understand why I feel this way and how I can save myself. Mm-hmm.
You became curious.
Yeah, I love to investigate, and I'm curious, and I want to learn, and that's when I started my. I think know thyself is the most important thing for me. Love thyself and know thyself. And that's why I started studying philosophy, psychology, and doing all those inner work.
You sound like such a strong person in so many ways.
Thank you. I don't know.
I'm sure you have. I'm sure you didn't always feel like that, right?
No, not always.
But the person that you seem to be today, sounds like a very resilient and strong person.
Yes. Thank you. I don't think it's because I've been weak that I became strong. I know what it feels to be weak, and I told myself I need to be strong. I need to be strong. And another thing is, I couldn't open up initially because I wanted to appear strong, to be okay. Like for mental health, like I don't want people to think I'm weird, I'm different, or I need help, I'm abnormal, let's say. So it took me a lot of courage to open up to my friends, and although some of them couldn't take me for who I am, I think it's great to ask for help. It's great to. I became so close to my friends nowadays, the friends I have. It's because I opened up to them. I had the courage to show them who I truly am, and they accepted me. And I'm not always strong. It's because of everything that happened. And instead of, you can let it break you, or you can let it make you. And for me, when you're broken into pieces, I want to share something about Japanese kintsugi. It's a philosophy about when things are broken, instead of throwing it away, you actually repair it with gold.
Yes.
And that's why I'm resilient today, because instead of letting myself be broken by those people or circumstances, external things, I mend myself, I build myself, I repair myself, I healed myself. And that's why I'm stronger today.
Yeah, what's the word again?
Kintsugi.
Kintsugi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kin means gold. And
Yeah.
so you mend it with gold.
Yeah.
And it looks more beautiful than a normal vase, let's say.
Yeah.
Than that's beauty in the brokenness when you repair
It's true.
it. So you don't have to be perfect and show the world that I'm this perfect girl, or like trying to maintain this image. We are all human.
Yeah.
And it's okay to feel and to share.
Yeah, and the obstacles, and the obstacles and challenges that life will throw at you, it's impossible to not have some broken pieces,
Yes.
Through those obstacles or challenges. But yeah, like what you just said, you can still mend it with gold, and it can become something beautiful, more beautiful in a sense.
For me, I see it as challenges. It's like an RPG game where there's like different levels of monsters. You start with level 1 and you defeat the monsters. Like the challenges are going to get harder, but every time you get experience and level up. That's how I see it. And now I'm like, what's next then? Like, what can I learn from this experience and turn it to a blessing? Like, it's all a matter of perspective. Even though the worst thing can happen to you, you can always turn it to a lesson. For example, like what happened to me, it made me really resilient. So now when I'm in the face of like difficulties or chaos or shits out there, like they think that I'll be like easily broken. No, like this is nothing compared to what I've been through. Yeah. So I'm not afraid. I became like unbreakable in a sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Seeing life as a video game in a way can be actually a good way to go through life. Like you said, like an RPG game.
Yes.
When you go through things, you can level up in the sense that your skill level can become higher. So yes.
Yeah, definitely. And I think when you look from a third-person perspective, like a Sims, like, when you don't like yourself, when you hate yourself, it's hard to do like even personal hygiene, you might slack off from that. But if you think about Sims, what can I do today for this person, like character, Sims character, I can make her feel better. Like, and I started thinking like detached, like from a higher perspective. I have to, take care of myself. What can I do to make Elaine happier today? And I ask these questions and perspective that helps me. And so I do things that are hard, but I did it anyway because today I did that. Yeah, tick check boxes, and I feel proud of myself. Or even though sometimes I fail, of course, but at the end of the day, I'm proud of myself because I survived. And it's not just about me. Like everybody out there, they're doing their best. They don't know better. We are all doing our best out there, in our own capacity.
Exactly.
And every day I survived, and I'll tell myself, thank you, Elaine. Thank you for doing this for me and being grateful. Even though I was in such a bad situation, I still want to be kind and love myself in a way.
Yeah. So when you were going through the depression, when you were like 17, were you then in Japan, or were you then, because you said that you were from
I'm from England, yes.
England, yes. Were you in England or in Japan?
Yes, I was in England. I was in the
England,
UK, yes. So I'm Hong Kong Chinese, but I grew up in England, and I'm British, Hong Kong Chinese basically, and now I'm in Japan having my adventure. My channel is called Draco Adventure because it's me flying around over the world, going to different countries, sharing my experience, my adventures, and I love food, I love anime, I love different experiences. Like I said, like leveling up. That's why I'm here. And back then I was in England. I had so it was I love England and all that, but it was just I was in a bad mind, or place back then, like kind of environment, I would say, and if you're not well physically, mentally, like, it's hard to enjoy life there.
Of course. Any place can become hell in a sense, right?
Yes. And I was also with my family. I couldn't be... It's a typical thing in Asian family, that like you're like with your family, like they don't want you to leave them. And my mum was so against me going to Japan. And I always lived my life for other people. I always thought about what can I do for other people around me to make them happy. It wasn't about me, what I wanted. It was always about what they wanted. And sometimes I got stuck in between my friends and my family, and they both blamed me in the end because, oh, why don't you choose me? Why? They would guilt trip me, some of them.
Yeah.
Like, they apologized afterwards. But when I made a decision to choose myself, I moved to Japan in my own will, even though everybody was against it. I didn't care because I want to have my adventure. I want to live my own life and be independent.
Sure. Yeah. It's good to, when you are a people pleaser, it's good to train the skill of choosing for yourself.
Yes.
Because if you never do that, then you will not have a life of yourself, but you will live in service of other people the whole time.
You have to actually fill your cup first. That's what I learned. You have to be...
Yes.
It's not selfish. It's self-love.
No.
You can't
exactly.
give from an empty cup. And I've been giving always sometimes from an empty cup, and I couldn't take it. And with those toxic relationships, another thing it taught me was boundaries. Of me being a people pleaser was boundaries and self-love and self-acceptance. All of that all links to finding my authentic self, what I truly wanted. Ask yourself, what do you want in your life? What do you really want in your life? And that's why I started choosing myself instead of other people. Instead of what my friends wanted, my parents' expectations. No, I want to meet my own expectations. And that's it.
Yeah.
It was
I really love your...
wake-up call, let's say, depression for me.
It's... Yeah. Like, I think, like you said, it can either make you or break you. But if you choose the path of doing something more with it, then it can be a wake-up call. Yes.
Yes. It's because it's gotten to a point so bad. Like, some people call it the dark night of the soul. But it was actually then, after that I found myself. And I know that I'm getting better, like, in the process, because I started doing things that are truly good for me. Meditation, being mindful. Because even if the physical world, the 3D world, is full of suffering, I can go within myself to find that peace within, to be present. I was forced to be present and to be mindful and to tap into my senses. So that's 5 things, I think, like what you can see, what you can hear, what you can smell, touch, and feel.
And taste.
Yeah, and taste. And so to put you back in the present moment. So I had no choice but to do that, because that was my way out, to choose myself, yes.
I have to say, I really like your insights so far about depression.
Thank you.
Good insights.
Yeah. I have lots of lessons and insights to share. I love sharing my experience.
Yeah, so let me also ask to anyone listening right now who might be going through or might have depression or might at least assume that they have depression. You've already shared some good insights and tips, but are there any other ones that really helped you that you could share to someone going through this right now? Any more insights or tips or tools?
Okay, so for me, at first, I started going to the gym. I got myself a dog. My dog, Brian, I love him. He made my life better, I would say 100%. Get yourself a dog, everybody, if you have depression. Because you're forced to go out. He's a he.
Yeah, is he in Japan or
he's
in the
England.
UK?
But he's in England. I miss him so much. He's my son. Like, because when you're depressed, you want to stay indoors. You want to just go in your bed and sleep, and that's it. When you have a dog, you're forced to go out to walk him. And at the same time, when you're moving around, you can't really feel depressed. When I'm exercising, when I'm sweating a lot, losing 1,000 calories. Like, I can't think negative thoughts. I can't. So when you're moving and like it just hijacks your brain and serotonin or all that kind of stuff going on, and having like Brian, like my dog, you actually experience like unconditional love. And I think that's what people lack. And when people are experiencing depression, they think they are worthless. No one loves them. Like, nobody cares about them. And if you have a dog, you understand what's unconditional love. And choosing yourself. I want everybody to finally choose themselves and forgive themselves. We often talk about like forgiving other people and being like compassionate for other people. But are you doing that for yourself?
Yeah.
That's saying. I think it's called Ho'oponopono or something like that. It's like Hawaiian ritual saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it says like, I love you, I'm sorry, and I forgive you. And I want everybody suffering from depression to say that to themselves. Because the most important thing is not to forgive other people first. It comes from yourself. If you can't even forgive yourself, how can you forgive other people? It's hard. It starts within. Like, fill your own cup first and choose yourself. And I want everybody to open up to those people that you can trust, like right people. Don't be afraid to share. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Especially men out there. I know. I'm like a man myself. I'm not a man, but like, I know why men think that way. They are just... Because I was the same. I don't want to show any like weaknesses. People will take advantage of me. They will laugh at me. All that kind of fear. It's okay to open up to those you trust, like a professional even. If you can't trust your friends, fine. But do not suffer alone in silence. And why I'm sharing today now, because this too shall pass. It's temporary. It's not forever. I got out of it, and you can too. I just want people to know that, to choose themselves, to believe in themselves, and love themselves, and know themselves. Know thyself is the answer. I kept saying that. I always say that in a lot of my videos, actually, because if you don't know yourself, everybody out there is going to tell you who you are. And you don't know. You lose the sense of who you truly are.
Yeah. So you said that you read a lot of philosophy and psychology. That, I guess, helped you to know yourself better?
I would say so, but more importantly, I think by learning philosophy, it develops your critical thinking. More importantly, instead of following those doctrines and insights, they are helpful to build a foundation, I would say. And I learned a lot. Western philosophy, and then I moved on to Eastern philosophy, which is more abstract. I think, more importantly, is to follow what resonates with you. What truly it's right for you, not just following like blindly. Like, I like Nietzsche, so I'm like, yeah,
sure.
Do that his way. No, do what resonates with you. Like, you don't have to agree on everything, and live your own way. Philosophy is just do it your own way, and thinking, you're having your mind like be independent and authentically yourself, instead of being sheeps and following everybody else. And
sure.
I'd rather walk alone. Someone told me, like, Elaine, like, you're like that tree out there. Because she was pointing to that tree in the mountain, and she was all by herself. Elaine, you're just like that tree out there. You don't care about what, like, you don't want to follow the crowd. I was like, yes, I'd rather be alone than to be in the wrong crowd. So don't be afraid of being alone. And solitude can be great. I love my solitude. I love my friends. But I also need time by yourself. To know yourself, you need time with yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, agree. Very much agree.
And today I actually went out on a date by myself.
Hey.
Yeah, by myself.
Nice.
Yeah, everybody were like, oh,
very nice.
That's sad. And like, you know, I don't want to go out alone and stuff. Some people think like that, especially in England. But now I don't care. I'm having this wonderful relationship with myself. I don't have to wait for my friends to go out with me. If they don't, like, check their availability and stuff. Like, I want to go to this cafe. I want to go, and I go. I don't have to wait for anyone. And that's the beauty of it. So, yeah, I have this... You are your own best friend. this is the most important relationship ever.
I mean, I think it's also maybe a quote, but the person that you're going to spend the most time with in life is going to be you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So if you can't come along with yourself, then life is going to be very heavy. So if you are going to spend the most time with you, then why not exactly try to get to know yourself better and try to become friends?
Definitely.
Because life is going to become so much more easier and beautiful.
Yes, it's the inner thoughts. Another thing I want to add, when you have depression, so many thoughts, so many words comes out, like, oh, you're not worthy, you're ugly, and all that kind of stuff. Just observe it. You don't have to, you're not your thoughts, but they come in like clouds. Just observe them. But don't attach to them. You're not that thought. You're not depression. You're not that anxiety. Observe it and let it go. When you identify with it, that's when you lose control. I only focus on what I can control, and that means my thoughts. And they will lead to emotions and actions. We can't control what other people would say. And that's why I focus on what I can control only. And they talk about in Stoicism as well. Like, focus on what you can control and know that there are shitty people out there. But so choose the people around you wisely. Choose yourself and be kind to yourself. Make it like habitual habit, everyday routine. And when you can catch yourself, you can deprogram yourself. That's what I did. A lot of the thoughts I have are actually not from me. They are from other people who told me 10 years ago, 5 years ago, who I am. And it got ingrained in my mind, and the repeated voices, oh, Elaine, you are this and that, you should be this, you should be that. I'm not here to meet the expectations. You can smash all those boxes. Another thing I want to add is I was depressed because I wasn't being me authentically. I wasn't happy with my life. I was wearing a mask, the nice girl. I was the nice girl. Yeah. When I finally chose myself, the labels, the boxes don't matter. People get into fights for like football and because they're so identified. Like, I'm a Chelsea fan, or this first me versus you. You are much more than that. We are all multidimensional. And you don't have to be defined by other people's opinions and words. It's really about yourself. A boat can't sink unless you let them in. Like, if you get hose within yourself, that's how they get in. So really cultivate that relationship with yourself and understand yourself.
By the way, any because you mentioned Stoicism, any philosophy books or psychology books that really, or other resources, I don't know, that really helped you that you could recommend? Any specific
Well,
ones?
For me, speaking of like philosophy, for me, I like Taoism.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Tao Te Ching, that's a good one as well. Even though it's very abstract, and I think for me, I learned Western philosophy first. For me, it's like Western philosophy. It's like a square. It's all about logical reasons. Aristotle, you have to be correct, and Socrates questioning. Like, learn that critical skills, critical thinking, and the Socratic method. But then for me, it was the way into flow, into Tao Te Ching is all about living in accordance with nature, with your own nature, with the world. And for me, it's useful because instead of forcing, I had to learn to release that resistance and go into the flow, what's right for me. It's a really, I think maybe some people, when they first read it, they don't understand. But when you gain more life experience, the more you read, you can resonate and finally identify what the lesson is really about. And for me, another psychologist I like, it's Carl Jung. I think.
Sure.
Yeah, I told you. Yeah. And from him, yeah. I'm not a fan of Freudian psychology. For me, I'm more about Carl Jung, because I can identify with it, and he's got a lot of even more spiritual insights. The anima, the animus. So even if you're a man, we all have feminine and masculine energy within you. So instead of putting yourself into boxes, you are so much more than that. And the goal is to be balanced, to be whole as an individual, and to find, Aristotle said it, eudaimonia, to find your purpose. So I take all of that, you know, Aristotle stuff, like like rational, being rational. You can be rational, but also listen to your own nature, like your calling, your purpose, what feels right for you. It's not all just about like, no feelings, no emotions makes me a man. No, it's becoming like healthy, like having healthy emotions. It's okay to feel. That's what I learned. I numbed all my emotions. I didn't cry for 5 years, actually. When I have depression, the way out for me was to ignore the pain. Completely shut it down, my emotions. It wasn't healthy. Yep. I got sick because of that. When you repress something, you explode. And that happened to me. Instead of bottling up and like boom, it's better to, when that's small thing, like understand, like why are you feeling this way? Deal with it immediately instead of building it up gradually. And so, like, I do not like the word like suck it up and man up and all that kind of stuff. No, face it. Face your demons. Shine a light to your darkness. Do not run away. Like, for me now, like, if I have a hot topic, people don't want to confront. I didn't like confrontation. But you can face it with a loving way. You don't have to fight someone. You can talk it out, communicate with yourself. That your enemy can be yourself. And that's why you can have the conversation, confront the darkness. You don't have to be afraid. When you are afraid and you run away, it gets scarier. It's like a monster. But when you actually shine a light to it, it's actually very small. You can deal with it. And you are more powerful than you think. I just want people to know that they are worthy just by being. You don't have to prove yourself, like doing, because I thought if I got like all these achievements, acclamation and stuff, people would finally like me for me. No. You are perfectly enough and worthy just by being. It's all about this self-love, self-knowledge journey. And like you said, I became so strong, so resilient. You can turn all the pain into gold. For me, everything, like you can transmute it to gold. Another book I like to recommend, it's Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's got a lot of great lessons. So people should read it. 100%, yeah.
Let me ask 2 last questions to you. All right. When did you actually know that you were getting better?
Okay.
Like that the depression, was getting less severe. What were sort of like the first glimpses that you were like, oh, wow, I'm getting out of this maybe?
So like I said earlier, I would have panic attacks in buses, in public, in school. That's why I was running away from going to school. I was in pain, like physically and also mentally too. I knew I was getting better. It's because I stopped running away. I stopped living in fear. I stopped living in survival mode. And instead, I tried to challenge myself to do 1% better every day. I went out, I went to London, I went to this place, I started trying things, and I started opening myself up with my friends. To be brave, to have the courage to be yourself, even to be disliked. I faced all of that. And I know I was getting better. It's because I was living again. I wasn't, like, I couldn't breathe properly before, like I said. I was just having such a hard time. But now, like, I just go wherever I want. I don't care what people think about me. I knew I was getting better because instead of thinking, oh, this person's looking at me, this person's thinking about me, this and that, the focus now is for me, what I want, what I think. Do I even like this person? It's not from that person's point of view. Like, oh, I want him to like me. And like, I stopped all those people pleaser tendencies. I started having good boundaries, protecting myself, protecting my peace. And my life just got a lot better because I cut off all those things that do not serve me no more. The fake friends, toxic people, I choose myself. I go out now, like I've been to so many countries. So, like last year I went to India, Vietnam, and then Germany, like went back to England to see my family.
You skipped Belgium.
I should have next time, maybe Belgium. You got some
Next
Belgium
time.
chocolate.
Exactly.
Yeah, in the future, I'm up for it. I want to travel the world, and this year I went to Thailand and China. There's just so many things out there you can explore and see. And I know I was getting better because I stepped out of my comfort zone. What I thought was impossible, I did it. I thought I couldn't go out of the house. That was like the beginning. I couldn't. I don't want to leave the house, and now I'm just flying everywhere. And like people don't think I have depression. They think I'm just always happy, smiling, and that kind of stuff. You don't know people's story, so we should be more kind to one another before we like see other people. We forget we are all humanity. We are all human beings out there. We all have our struggles. We all have family, and despite of race, skin color, or like religion, all that kind of stuff, ultimately we all share the same emotions. It's just on a spectrum, I would say.
Yeah. Something that I also like to remind myself of is that everyone is fighting a battle that you know nothing about.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? We're all, like you said, we're all going through something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I don't want to see myself as a victim. I would see myself as a warrior. I made through it. I survived.
I like that. Yeah.
I'm not like, oh, look at me. Like, I've cried. It's okay, that's different things. Like, some people say, oh, victim card and stuff. That's different cases when people actually attacked. That's predators. That's a victim. Like, and we should have empathy instead of blaming them. We should not blame and criticize. We should have empathy and understanding and support the actual victims instead of siding with the predators. Because when you disrupt the status quo, people tend to, even with mental health, depression, and all that kind of stuff, people want to silence us. And like when you bring up the uncomfortable thing, when you shine a light to the darkness, people want to shush you because it makes you uncomfortable. That's what happened to my friend when I opened up to her. She can't face it. She was like, oh my God, this is making me uncomfortable. It brings discomfort. Talking about the truth. The truth makes people uncomfortable, yes. But it's better than sweep it under a rug and say, oh, it doesn't exist. Let's keep silence, everybody, and explode and die. So I don't want that.
I agree.
Yeah, and I'm myself now. I don't care. Like, if people don't like me, cool. I like myself, and that's what matters at the end of the day. Like, it's yourself.
Totally.
You live with yourself.
Yeah. Let me ask you a last question. I mean, you've already shared a lot about it, so let's see if something more comes up on it. But what is one thing that you wish more people understood about depression?
Okay. Like I said, like I shared a lot of things, yes, but like depression, it's just not like a few days you can get over it. Oh, get over it. Let's smile, everybody. I hate that fake positivity thing. Like, oh, it's all sunshine and rainbow. Come on, like one of my friends, she was like, oh, forgive everybody. She doesn't know a thing what I've been through, what they did to me. You do not have to forgive anyone unless you want to and unless you're ready to. I do not like fake positivity. I do not like people saying, oh yeah, shush, depression, like, suck it up. People do not understand that. And when they ask you, oh, are you okay? How are you? And they always say, I'm fine. I'm great, thank you. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to be depressed. We go through stuff like losses, suffering in life. But life is not all about suffering. You can make it a great life. You can make it a great one. It depends on how you see it, like perspective. Your decisions in life can shape your destiny. And I chose myself, and I'm happy now. Like, I would say I'm happy with a lot of things and be grateful for what I have because I've been through it. And I would say depression. I know people are like in such a dark place and they want to give up. Don't give up. I want people to understand, to be more empathetic. I know a lot of people don't know what to say when their friend is suffering. Oh my God. Just be there with them. by their side.
Yeah.
Even though you don't know what to say, just be present. Listen. Listen. Do not shut them down. Be present and listen. Be compassionate. Be that shoulder to cry on. And if you do not have that friend, listen to yourself. Just talk everything out. Why my belief system? Analyze your belief system. How it started. Why? Reasons. What you can do to improve your life. And for me, I have a vision where I want to be. And that's how I got out of it. Because I always live... Imagination, it's really incredible. You can manifest your life by imagination, by consistent action. I'm not just about a woo-woo person. I'm spiritual, but
Sure.
I believe in spirituality and stuff. But for me, I'm also very practical.
Yes.
Both ways. But you have to believe that you can do it. Then you can actually do it. If you don't believe you can do it in the first place, you're not going to start anything. You're just going to sit there and it's impossible for me. I see people staying in a dead-end job for 30 years, earning minimum wage, and they're okay with that. Because I deserve that. I can't do better. You can. I do not settle for less. There's so many times people try to give me the bare minimum. I'm bye. I quit. I choose myself. Do not settle for less. And a lot of people, when they're depressed, they think that's what they are. They feel like a piece of shit. That's how people who are depressed, they feel like that. But no, you're so much more. You're beautiful, and that's gonna be someone who loves you. But you need to love yourself. Self-love really matters, because if you don't love yourself, people can see that. They can sense that. And confidence. Confidence, for me, it's not some techniques. I know I'm loud and that kind of stuff. It's just me being authentically myself. When people are shy, and wearing a mask, they feel like they're so self-conscious. But when you take all that off, you're authentic, that's the highest frequency, authenticity. For me, not faking, not trying to be this technique will make me more confident, and saying this paragraph, and that's, you don't need all of that. Just be yourself. So I want people to understand that depression, it's not easy, but you can go through it, and let's be kinder to one another. And the way to remove the stigma it's by sharing, it's by talking about it, spreading awareness. Like I said earlier, people want to shut it down. No, that's not how we should do this. We should talk more about it, and it's okay to feel. Let's normalize people being humans. Men are not robots. Women are not objects and dolls. No, we are human beings, and we can make it a kinder world, for sure. That's my vision. I think I look at the state of the world sometimes, and I'm I do not identify. And you do not have to live with that, even with the chaos.
No.
Now, I don't identify with this bullshit. I don't watch the news. Stop entertaining yourself with those things that don't entertain you, the news and media, all negative stuff. You don't need that. So
Agreed.
choose everything. Be conscious. Yes.
Yeah. You're someone with a lot of wisdom.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you for sharing, part of your story and journey through depression. And like you said, it's about talking more about it, not less. That's how we can do something 100%. About the stigma, and that's how we can connect with each other as well.
Yes.
And be there for each other by sharing our stories more. So thank you for sharing part of yours.
Thank you for inviting me and giving this platform a voice for those people, about mental health, about depression, because it matters. And we are human beings. We need one another. No man is an island. And individualism, it's fine. But if you think about the collective whole, what we can do for this society and how we can contribute and support one another.
Yeah.
It matters. We are humanity. And I hope we can make it a better world, a kinder world, more conscious world. Yeah, thank you for inviting me today, and I appreciate it.